Hi, welcome to KiwaniTalk. We're a public information show put together by people from the Dearborn Kiwanis Club, help from students and faculty at WDHS at Dearborn High School, my alma mater. My name is Gary Gardner, and today we're talking with Wendy Baggett from the Dearborn Symphony. She's the executive director. That's a great topic, but we're going to talk about something even different kind of fun than the symphony. It's something that's very near and dear to my heart, and Wendy has taught me, and we've talked about the number of countries we've been to. We're talking about travel with custom holidays.
Yes.
Owner, manager, chief cook and bottle washer, tour guide, get you out of jail when you get in trouble overseas. Wendy Baggett.
Yes, a few of those things, not all.
Welcome back to the show, Wendy.
Thank you for having me.
We'll do the symphony real quick.
Okay.
Dearborn Symphony been around for a while.
Yes, 60 years.
Great concert series. By the time we see her, there's only one left for this year. And what's going up next year? You told me you couldn't tell me.
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Okay,
so,
I want to do that. I want to travel some more. But Dearborn Symphony's been around for a long time, and that's one of your loves. But what travel's another part of your love?
We do have one concert left.
Okay, what's
May
that?
the 5th,
Okay.
which might be
Okay.
after this airs.
Right.
May the 5th, and it's in collaboration with the Dearborn Community Fund, and we're showcasing the arts and music and how they go together. So some great, we'll have some projection of artwork above while we're playing the music, and it'll be very exciting.
If it was the day before, it could have been the Star Wars show on May the 4th.
Yes, it could have,
With
but
you,
it's the 5th.
That's good. So we're talking about travel a little bit, okay? And you have traveled. Your family travels. You've been in the business. How did you get into travel? And where was the first place you ever went to other than good old United States of America?
Well, my father was in the Marine Corps for 20 years.
Okay.
So we did a lot of traveling, and I think we sort of got that bug. We moved every 3 years, which is no big deal to me, but we did a lot of travel. I think the first place was probably the Bahamas on one of those short little cruises, you know.
Okay.
We've done a few of those.
Okay. Yeah. And so where's the furthest you've been after besides, well, you've gone so far, you've come back?
Well, I have circumnavigated the globe once.
Okay.
So I guess that's the furthest. I mean, China, Australia, the Middle East.
All those sort of places.
Yes.
And you have a company, and your company is called?
Custom Holidays.
Custom Holidays.
Yes.
So, and because we're filming this at the first weekend in March.
Right.
You don't look like you've been in Michigan for all this time. You've been someplace else. Where did you just get back from?
I have been on the beach in Texas, South Padre Island.
Okay.
We had a group that went for 2 weeks, and I was the tour guide.
Okay, so you're the tour guide for a group. And people don't understand how it's like herding cats. I've done that when I was in college. I worked for a travel agent, and I took a group over to Spain. It was professors and their families, but it's like herding cats.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that, as a person who's going on a tour, you can expect from your tour guide to keep you from missing your plane, from getting out of your hotel on time, and
yes,
not getting arrested?
We had a connection in Dallas,
Okay.
and so I gathered all of my children around, and we all took the shuttle from one terminal to the next, and made sure we got on the plane. So we do those kind of things, and make sure that there was a motor coach there to pick us up and take us to the hotel. When we got to the hotel, I make sure everybody gets the room and the room that they requested and that sort of thing. And this tour was a little different. We didn't have a daily itinerary, but it was called our concierge tour, where I basically acted as the concierge during the trip. Every morning at 10:30, I was down in the lobby, and if they wanted to look for something to do that day, they could come down and talk to me. And I arranged a dolphin watching cruise. I arranged a little lunch cruise for some people. People went birding. They wanted to know about the craft show, how to use the public transportation. I helped them with that. And then at 4:30 every evening, I was available if anyone wanted to join for dinner, because a lot of single travelers don't want to go out on their own. So they were able to join with me, and we usually had 6 or 7 people, and we'd just go somewhere for dinner, and come back, and then they were basically on their own the rest of the time. A little different from our normal guided tour, escorted tour.
You, so you had a keg set up in the, in the lobby and you're ready to go.
Yeah, we had a party time. And the Visitors Bureau came and talked to us and gave us a coupon book and told us all about the area. So,
but two of the things you sort of said in passing that I think are important for people who are not experienced travelers is getting you through the airport, from shuttle, from off the plane to the shuttle to the next terminal, and having a motor carrier, a bus, to get you from the airport to the hotel, because it can be hard sometimes to find a taxi or an Uber or find the local transportation.
Yes.
And for people who have wanted to travel and dreamed of it, but they are a little bit trepidatious about it because what do I do? How do I get there? So tell about that, how that experience is for people who haven't traveled, how having a company like Custom Holidays can help them get through that.
You know, having that person who has experience is really invaluable. I have TSA pre-check and global entry. So I was telling you earlier, once everyone got in line to go through the security, I was able to whiz right through with the pre-check and be on the other side by the time they got there. So when they got there and they were looking around, which direction do we go? There I was standing there pointing this way, you know. So having, you know, while everyone was looking for their luggage, I went out and looked for the bus. And by the time I found them and had them pull up and I went back in, mine was the only piece left, so it was easy to find, and out we went. Making sure they know what time to be back, just sending reminders, gentle reminders, and helping them. Now, when we do an escorted tour, the same thing, the escort reminds them what time to catch the bus in the morning, and then we tell them where we're going for the day, what it is we're going to do, how long they have at the stop, those type of things. It takes care of all the payments.
So describe what an escort is for an escorted tour. Is that a local who has knowledge and is like a tour guide type of thing?
Well, there's two types. So we go as a tour manager, we go with the group, and often they'll take a motor coach from here. So we'll take a motor coach from here, let's say down to Indiana. In fact, in December, we did a holiday mystery tour. We had a full coach of people who had no idea where they were going. So having that
sounds like my family on a regular day.
Having that tour manager there to know we're going the right direction, you know, is important. Often when we are at a destination, we ask a local step-on guide to get on our bus and maybe give us a 3-hour tour around their city. And they tell us a lot of local history and important things about that area. Whereas the tour manager makes sure you're checking into your room. If you wanted a handicapped one, you get it. If you know, 2 people in one room, your keys, your back out, the logistics, shall we say.
So you've mentioned a couple of things, flying to South Padre Island in the United States, motor coach to Indiana, but Custom Holidays goes beyond the horizon too.
We do.
And so let's say I've always wanted to go to Italy. Mm-hmm. I don't speak Italian. I don't know anything about the customs or how to get through immigration, or what can Custom Holidays do for a traveler like that?
Well, couple of things. First of all, if you want to go as an individual, we can help set it up for you and give you direction and really a complete package, which includes preparation of your documentation, making sure you have the right thing to go. I see people all the time on Facebook asking, oh, I'm going such and such, what are the documentations? And I think, well, if you had a travel professional helping you, they would be able to, you know, address that. So we help people do that, but probably since we specialize in group travel, we would steer you to come with us on one of our tours that goes to Italy. We go to Italy probably every other year, other destinations, or another tour company that we partner with that goes to that destination that has that tour manager there who will meet you in the airport with a sign with your name on it, pick you up, take care of you, drop you back off at the airport at the end of your stay.
Because in a lot of places where English is not a language that is spoken by many people, having that group that with a guide or an escort or whatever makes a big difference too. And you mentioned before the show, you've been a few places. How many countries have you been to now?
I just went to number 102 in January.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
But it's only 6 continents, though.
Only 6. I've not been to Antarctica. And let me qualify it by saying, so there's an organization, I don't know if you've heard of them, it's called the Travelers Century Club. You cannot join it till you've been to 100 countries. And they have a list broken down of countries and territories that are geographically or politically separated from maybe their motherland. So while I say 102 countries, it's probably only 80 actual individual ones, but some islands count, So for example, in Great Britain, if you've been to England, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and the Isle of Man, that would be 6 instead of just 1.
Which is Great Britain. So.
Yes. So it's probably 80 individual countries, but on their list, I qualify at 102.
And having been to that many places, if you are, when you are from Custom Holidays, you go on these tours, and what is your role if you go on those things?
If I go, I usually go as the tour manager.
Okay. And people come to you and say, help me.
Yes. Help me. Where do I go? How do I catch the bus? What should I do? How much money is this?
Right. Another thing, too, people get ripped off, too, in a big way with their money, their wallets. You tell them how to keep your passport safe, and don't give your camera to the guy to take your picture.
He'll take off with it. In fact, we were in Barcelona 3 weeks before COVID began.
Right.
And one lady lost her passport. So she and I, for 4 hours, went to the consulate and worked on getting her a new passport, a replacement passport.
Yeah, I just got back from a trip, and one of the things that my daughter and I did is we took pictures of our passports and our documentation and our phone, and I'll email it to ourselves so we could always find it if we needed to in the show. Here, I at least have something to identify myself.
And our company takes copies of all of those as well and keeps them here in our office so that we can just make a call and get all that information.
So if someone wanted to get a hold of Custom Holidays, there's a phone, I'm sure.
We do have a phone. Yeah, we're in the 20th century
you still have
here.
A phone,
21st century, yeah.
What's the phone number for that?
It's we're located in Allen Park, so it's 313-388-0448.
Okay, and is there a website, I'm sure?
We do have a website. It's called CustomHolidaysOnline.com.
Amazing how that works with your name and as a part of it, and then you're all sort of there.
And the word online. When my mom was the first owner of the company, and when she got, the web came out, she wasn't sure people would understand that it was a website address, so she added the word online. So it's CustomHolidaysOnline.com.
There you go. So if you wanted to put a group together and come, and I've got a group from a school or from a social organization or just neighbors, how does Custom Holidays organize that and put it all together for a small group?
We can do that, and we work with a number of schools and senior centers and organizations that do that, and they come to us and they tell us what they're interested in, what kind of price range, what type of, whether they're looking for a budget trip or a first class trip. And then we make the arrangements for them. And oftentimes we make suggestions. They say, for example, we want to go to Washington, D.C. That's all we know. And so we talk to them for a long time, finding out what it is they want. And then we would make a recommendation for them.
And when you are part of a group, as opposed to just getting on a plane and flying somewhere, is it more cost effective? Is it more expensive? What do you get for the economy?
It's actually less expensive because you have a group buying in to get better rates. So the more hotel rooms you book for a certain number of nights, the better rate they give you. Or if you have 50 people as opposed to one, you get the group rate. So it is less expensive.
And also part of the knowledge, a year ago, November 2021, I went to Egypt with my family. We were going to go to Greece, but my daughter says it's cheaper to fly from Detroit to Cairo, and then take a local flight from Cairo to Athens, and then go to Santorini, whatever we did. But we were 8 of us, so we had a big enough group that we organized for a guide and a bus.
Yes.
And I'd still be in Cairo if I didn't have that.
Oh, yeah.
We also had a guy help us get through the customs process there.
Yes.
And you come in, you give them some money. All of a sudden, all our passports go to the front of the line, stamp, 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 stamp. We get our bags. All of a sudden, our bags get through the X-ray machine, not the X-ray machine, it's right out there. We could have been bringing anything into the country.
Right.
So that makes a big difference.
It does. My husband and I've just been married for 4 years. We did our honeymoon on a cruise out of Dubai.
Okay.
And he had never flown out of the country before. I had to actually go to India for a meeting first, so I went the week before, and then he came after on his own to Dubai. And so we arranged that service for him, and they met him right there at the gate on a thing with his name, took him right through customs, and he was out before anybody else.
Makes a big difference.
A lot of countries offer that service.
And it was a couple of bucks, and we're good.
35, I think.
Yeah, it's not
Nothing.
It's nothing. So we're going to take a break here. We're going to come back and talk with Wendy Baggett, the executive director of the Dearborn Symphony. But right now, today, from Custom Holidays from Allen Park. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We'll talk about some more exciting places and places to go, maybe a place to avoid. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Don't go away.
Changes catch your eye, and you come to realize one can make a difference. Reach out, stand out, find out what it's all about. See it all, stand tall, be there to catch them when they fall. Since 1915, Kiwanis International has touched millions of lives through thousands of service programs for children around the world. When you help one child, you help the world. Life is bigger than just one, but one can make a difference.
Welcome back to KiwaniTalk. I'm your host, Gary Gardner. For this episode, our travel-sode. Talking about travel with Wendy Baggett from Custom Holidays, Allen Park, Michigan. Welcome back, because you're always coming back from someplace.
That's true.
102 different countries. You got all this. Your passport, you have to get an extra thick one when you buy them and stuff like that. So one of the things that, there's places that you've been that you like. Where would you advise a traveler to actually be in a group rather than being solo? It's someplace that would be a little bit dicey, but you've been.
There are some places. So for me, Nairobi, Kenya, I felt much safer in a group than I would individually. In fact, when my mom and I were there, there was a school across the street from our hotel, and we wanted to go and see if they were doing any plays or concerts or anything like that. And the guards at our hotel would not let us cross the street. And I'm talking a 2-lane, residential area type street, would not let us go across on our own, but came with us, stood there for a few minutes while we read the bulletin board and brought us back again. So definitely a place like that. Anywhere where there's poverty, often traveling in a group is good. But if you go individually, you have to just be aware of your surroundings. I mean, you have to everywhere. Things happen everywhere. But for example, when my mom and I did a scavenger hunt where we went around the world, my job was navigator, her job was negotiator. But while I was navigating, her job was watching my back. While she was negotiating, my sole job was watching her back. So you have to, I'm not afraid really, to go anywhere unless it's on the don't go there list, the official don't go there list.
The level top though.
Right, right. As designated by the government, and you can find that online at travel.state.gov.
Right.
But if it's not on there, I want to go. I'd like someone to go with me, and we can be a team trying to make sure that we're safe.
And it'd be surprising because there's places around the world, like I lived in Melbourne for a long time in Australia.
Yes.
And it's a really safe place, but there's some suburbs
Yes.
that I wouldn't be caught after sundown
Right.
in that area, even though it's a metropolitan city and there's all these other things. I think it's great, but yeah, you have to be always have your head on a swivel.
Yes.
And-
I'll tell you one thing we did. My friend and I were traveling in the Balkan region, and we were in Albania, and we needed to get from one city to another. We had nothing lined up ahead of time because they don't do that way there.
Right.
So we hired a driver to take us. And before we left the hotel, we made him stand behind the car next to his license plate. And we took a picture of him and his license plate, and we texted it to the hotel owner and said, we'll call you in 4 hours. And if we don't, call the police, and here's, come looking for us. But he had us there in plenty of time, and it might have turned out to be one of the greatest rides we took. He stopped by the side of the road and picked some roses for us, and we stopped and got some snacks, and he delivered us right to our door. It was great experience.
One of the things that I have a affinity for is getting sick when I travel.
Oh.
which is but I try not to do that. And what kind of hints can you give to a traveler before they go? What would you advise them to bring with them in preparedness for, if you're not in Mexico, still Montezuma seems to go everywhere.
It does. And the thing I would say about being prepared is to understand that things happen and be flexible. And for things like Montezuma's Revenge, you're not really sick. It's just different, and just be prepared and go with it. As far as medications go, take prescription medications in your prescription bottles and take extra. If you're going on a 10-day trip, take a 15-day supply because you never know what could happen. For instance, on 911, lots of people were stranded in other countries, didn't have their prescriptions with them. Didn't have enough. So if you were stranded for more than 5 days, you may not have had enough with you. Also taking little things like aspirin and Dramamine and other things that just help make you more comfortable and enjoy your time better.
Yeah, vitamin I call it ibuprofen.
Yes.
That's,
and Band-Aids for your feet.
How about packing? When you find people when they travel, my daughter, who I love her, she's been in a lot of places, more than I have. She travels with this enormous group of suitcases. It's like it's embarrassing to be traveling with her. What do you need to travel if you're going to give accommodation to someone? What do you need to actually have?
You don't need that much. You can wear things more than once.
Right.
You can buy things just about anywhere. I have a backpack that holds 25 pounds that I've traveled around the world in. And there were things in there that I wish I hadn't brought. I didn't need them. But, a small microfiber towel, like if you're going to be backpacking or really on the go, you would pack differently. I pack differently for 2 weeks in a hotel room in South Padre, Texas, than I would for and around the world, 15 countries in 30 days.
Yeah, because it depends on your weather where you're going too.
It does. Layers is always the best.
Layers is great, and you don't have to carry fancy dresses and
don't bring giant bottles of shampoo. They've got shampoo. Believe it or not, there's shampoo in every country.
There is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Take a little bottle, fill it up while you're gone. Yeah.
I just got back from a trip where I was in America, Central America, Antarctica, so I had to go through all the different climates. Mm-hmm. But you said something about layers.
Wear layers. Take a coat that has a zip-out lining. You can wear, if it's that cold, zip it in. When it's, take it out. And you don't need to bring 2 different coats. Just bring one that does that.
Give me your top 5 extraordinarily great places that you've seen.
Well, So I love Oman, which is in the Middle East. It's just a starkly different country than any I've ever seen. The mountains are beautiful. The beaches are beautiful. Everyone there is friendly. They have gleaming white temples. It is a beautiful place. I love Oman. I must love China because I've probably been there about 10 times. I love Beijing and Shanghai. I love the hustle and bustle of all the cities and all the things you can buy and all the foods you can eat and all the things you can see and stuff that you wouldn't dare put in your mouth. You know, that's a lot of fun.
Right.
I also love, I love Paris just because of the familiarity of it, and I've been there a number of times. It's easy to get around. It's a lot of fun.
As Bogart said, you'll always have Paris.
You always have Paris. I love Singapore. It's clean. It's easy to get around. It's they've got a transit system that you can just go anywhere you want to go. I love Laos. Oh my goodness, there's like 6 million people in Laos and 2 million of them are monks. So it's very quiet there, very peaceful, lots of nature. The Mekong River is beautiful. It's peaceful. I love Vietnam. There's Ho Chi Minh City has 13 million people and 14 million motorbikes. It's a lot of hustle and bustle.
So you've expressed a lot of like city things, okay? And I'm more of a country. I loved Skye, the Isle of Skye in Scotland.
Yes.
Because it's just a wild place.
Yes.
I loved Antarctica because it was a wild place.
Yeah.
How about your wildest wild places? Where would you think if you wanted someone to see a beautiful, and not just overseas, but in America too, because there's a lot to see here.
There is a lot to see in America. I love all of the places in America, and I would go anywhere in the U.S. just as easily as overseas. But when I think of exotic, I typically think of overseas. I think Iceland. I was there in the winter, and lots of waterfalls and frozen stuff, and I would love to go again, but in the summertime. I feel like it's a different country, you know. So I think something like that is for me kind of a wild. Also Kenya, we went on a safari and we saw the elephants and
all that sort of
buffalo
stuff.
and
Buffalo.
Yeah, all that stuff.
We have about 1 minute to go.
Okay.
And it's a shame we've got America. You've been to all 50 states, I'm sure.
No.
No? What, you've been to 100 countries, not
I
50
know.
states?
I haven't even counted the states, but a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out west?
Yes. Yeah, we lived in California for a while and
Rockies,
Alaska.
Rockies, Colorado.
Yes. Yeah.
Tetons,
Yeah,
Yellowstone, those things.
Yeah,
So,
all of those.
what would you say for Wendy Baggett from Custom Holidays? Should people travel or no?
Yes.
Why?
It's good for your health. It's good for your helping with understanding other cultures. It makes you more understanding of other people. And I think it's good for anxiety. I mean, you may have high anxiety, but it teaches you how to deal with your anxiety, how to overcome that, how to keep going.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
See
yes.
something different.
Yeah.
And appreciate perhaps what you have here.
But you never know. It might be in your comfort zone.
Your phone number one more time?
313-388-0448.
And Custom Holidays Online.
.com.
Is it. Wendy Baggett, thank you very much. Good
Thanks
to
for
see you
having
again.
me.
See you someplace exotic maybe. You never know.
You never know.
Okay. See you back on this TV station next time. I'm Gary Gardner. Bye-bye.